All right, it's that special time of the week when we take a little time to find out what's trending left. And we're kicking things off with one of the most ridiculous stories I've seen in probably the last 20 minutes. If you watch any of our other programs, you understand. So, here we have a biological guy who was recently rejected after pledging a sorority at the University of Alabama. And now it appears he is on the hunt for tampons. But why?
Day 12 of being a girl, and we're gonna go buy tampons. Let's go.
I don't know, which one should I get?
At the Tampax Pearl, I think these are like little dots to see how much you flow, is what somebody said online. I don't know, let's do an unboxing. It literally has instructions. Okay, this is a tampon. This thing does not go up inside you. Like, where does that go? Oh my God, what the hell? Okay, so it says you push the plunger up and out comes the baby. Kidding. That just hangs out inside you? How does it, how do you get it out? Is that what this thing's for?
How dare you appropriate being a woman? If we can't just wear, sombreros or hit piñatas on Cinco de Mayo because I am not of Mexican origin, then you cannot try and stick a tampon up any part of your regions because you are not a woman. And the simple fact that he is doing the day 12 of being a woman tells me that he's following that Dylan Mulvaney actor who is also trying to appropriate being a woman. How dare you? But speaking of crazy people who are desperately seeking attention, our old biologically male yet non-binary identifying friend Jeffrey Marsh is at it again. This time he, and I emphasize he so nobody gets confused, is once again preaching from the science pulpit, telling young people that biological sex is fake. Off we go.
Biological sex is fake. Yes, we all know that gender roles are fake, but do not say to a trans person, biologically male, born female, male-bodied. No, 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 no. There is no biological criteria for gender that is both universal and a binary in human beings.
But science. All right, let's get away from these wackadoodles and move on to some far more sane people. We head into the classroom. Gotcha. They are no better. In fact, here's an English teacher with a terrible case of RBF who claims as an English teacher that grammar and writing rules are just dripping in white supremacy. And that's why it's her job to change the rules in the name of justice.
As an educator, I am constantly worried if I am part of the problem. What do I mean by that? Well, public education is an institution that upholds lots of problematic systems in our society, like white supremacy and misogyny and colonization, etc. In my role as an educator, I try to undermine that BS in my classroom as much as I possibly can. I teach high school English and whew, the white supremacy runs deep. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at how we write essays. Start with an introduction that includes a thesis. Always cite your sources. Use transition words like however and therefore. These are all made-up rules. They're arbitrary. They were created by Westerners in power. In linguistic justice, April Baker Bell calls this the language of respectability or the language of power. Which got me thinking, what if I started my school year with a unit honoring how we talk rather than teaching students how to write properly?
Well, then you would just be saying, whoo, and all the other nonsense you just said in that video while you zoomed up in on yourself. She's supposed to be an English teacher. She is supposed to teach you grammar. Parents, get your kids out of these schools. But it appears not only is grammar and the written word unacceptable in today's woke society, we now have another teacher who believes all schools should lower expectations for Black children because every single one of them is suffering some sort of PTSD. From what you may ask? Well, isn't it obvious? They're Black. Enough said.
So we now know that trauma just makes it almost infinitely harder to learn when you're a child. And we also now know that systemic racism is essentially an adverse childhood experience. And many researchers qualify systemic racism as an adverse childhood experience, which means that children who are Black and brown in our schools are expected to be excellent while suffering from complex PTSD.
Oh, was she still on there. I missed it. Well, anyway, finally, we're going to bring it on home, away from the crazy influencers, the teachers, and just have some quality time with the parents. That is, unless your parent is transgender and raising you and your siblings to choose your own gender. And apparently, this video was in response to someone saying raising genderless children is just like allowing them to choose what foods they like. More peas, please.
I know you know nothing about genderless parenting, but that's literally the whole point, is they get to pick. That's why we use all pronouns instead of just neutral pronouns, so they can experience all pronouns and how it makes them feel, so that when they get to the age, like around 3, they can tell me what they prefer. That's literally the whole point, is they get to pick.
Sorry, I did it again. I mean, probably narcoleptic, as we see there, put me to sleep, because that's literally all I could hear as the person just droned on and on. But thankfully, we're done with the segment. But of course, you can bet there will be plenty more craziness next time.